3. Hello, everybody. We're here with Jeff Pittinger of White Witch. And actually, I think you said, Jeff, we were talking, it's been, what, almost 16 years or 15 years? Or
15 and a half years.
Since I've been up here and interviewed him. Back in those days, we were just talking to, we used to do a lot of audio interviews.
Yep.
It wasn't as easy to do the videos, but with your phone and everything today, you don't need the expensive cameras. And yeah, we haven't done any gigs together in a long time either, so it's great to be up here. Jeff interviewed me also. And now, I always thought of White Witch, to me, White Witch reminded me of new classic rock. Like, you're definitely classic rock, but you're new. It's new music in the genre of classic rock, I always thought. And how would you like to describe White Witch and all your projects? Because you actually have 3 projects. What would you like to tell us?
Well, a lot of the reviews that we've gotten from our albums for White Witch, a lot of them said we're the new wave of British heavy metal. And I kind of like that because it kind of puts us in a nice fit for us. You know, we're not really, how do you say, like my guitarist Doug Lehman. His famous quote is, "I don't have a blues vein in my entire body." He's completely different from the others. If you ask him to play a blues riff in E, he probably couldn't even do it. Or he wouldn't know where to start. And he's just different. And, he's into more like the Scorpions. He's a huge Scorpions fan. And Michael Schenker, of course. That's a kind of the Scorpions. Their claim is, you know, American music was great. It was pretty much blues oriented, but we're not blues at all. We are completely classical. And you know how many classical geniuses have come from Germany in the last couple hundred years. There's been some pretty good classical pianists and so forth.
I do like that description. That is a nice description of the band. And now you, how many albums have you had out as White Witch?
We have 5 out, and we have a live DVD. We're actually working on some new songs that I don't know if we'll be able to put out on a full album. The way the world is right now for us, things are pretty complicated. Doug lives in West Palm Beach. He mails me actually CDs in the mail with new songs, and then I put words to them, work them out, then we get them to Carl, and that's how we make our music. We don't, you know, everybody has their own way, but for us, I really get off on getting a package in the mail with a new song to work on. And we're just old school, and that's how we do it now. I'm not saying that'll work for other people, because everybody has their own way of doing things. That's how we do it, and we keep releasing. We don't have the luxury of playing a lot like we used to for various reasons. For instance, our drummer, Carl Berry, just had a bad stroke 2 months ago.
I'm sorry to hear that. I hope everybody watching this and listening can send some prayers out to him.
Yeah, I just talked to him 2 days ago on the phone, and he said I almost started crying because I was expecting him to not be able to talk hardly at all, and it wasn't like that. It was like 85% Carl again. Now, I'm not saying that he can get around and walk and all those things. And I don't know when or if he'll ever play drums again. We're hoping that he does. But we're still making new music. What we do is we make videos. And I'm getting good at it. I've only made a few, but I have a couple people that help me with that. And so we release a couple new songs, and we have videos for them. Like the 2002, we did Change Is Coming. And then that was right at the end of COVID. In fact, I posted on Facebook, we're going to kick 2020 in the ass, and that was the COVID thing. I said it was December 31st. I posted that video, and that was right before the year was over. And I said, we're going to kick that year in the ass before it goes out the door. And then we put that video out. Then 2 weeks later, put out another video. and they're pretty good videos. I mean, for a super low budget.
And where can people find these?
On Facebook.
On Facebook?
Yeah, they're everywhere.
And what's the easiest Facebook page to find them on?
On the White Witch page.
White Witch page?
Yeah, just scroll down through there and you'll find them. Because I have other stuff on there. And you can type in Changes Coming White Witch, or they're all on YouTube too, so you can get them there.
No, that's great. Now that's the White Witch is like your main project, but you have 2 other projects that you also work on. What can you tell us about those?
Yeah, Monster Track Supergroup was formed in 2010. We didn't actually get in the studio till the middle of 2010. And then we released our first album in 2011. And then we released another album in like 2013 or 2014. And we're working on another one. As you know, back in like 2020, the COVID hit. And just before that, Brett had a kidney transplant. And so, I mean, we've been working on this third album for 7 years.
Mm.
And that's just, you can't put a time frame on when you can't say, well, we're going to have this out in such and such a time, because the world can get really complicated and it sneaks up quick on you.
Plus, we were talking about just the fact that we're getting older and stuff comes up health-wise you don't expect, and
family members,
it's
friends.
We even talked about earlier. We talked about some of our idols and about Alice Cooper, and Alice Cooper went through some of the same stuff taking care of his mother. So it happens to all of us.
Yes, it does.
And it can be rough.
Yeah, you just want to make the best of every day that you can, and because one day it's like we said a little earlier. Everything in this world and life happens in one day. You're born in one day, you die in one day, you get a dog in one day, you get married in one day, you have kids in one day, you get a puppy in one day, you hit the lottery in one day, and you know.
The only thing that you don't do in one day is your taxes. You pay them forever.
That is a fact. That is a fact, and unfortunately, that's one of those other categories. But for the most part, once I get these we got most of the songs done, but I ran into a bit of a stumbling block with the Last in Line from Ronnie James Dio, which anybody out there that don't know, that's a big boy song. That's as big as they come, and the verses are pretty good, but the choruses are not up to speed. And I've been up there twice to his studio, and I'm gonna start singing more because I have some stuff coming up, and I'm trying to, once I get that Dio, the choruses on the Last in Line done, and we'll put out, Monster Track will be putting out another
CD. Now you have a third project too.
The Betty Ford All Stars. We're working on recording, going in the studio. I had scheduled to go in on the 11th and 12th of May, but I'm out of drummers. My second drummer, Jesse Rhodes, who was formerly, the original drummer for 44 Mag, he has some bad spinal problems, and he needs to go out to Pittsburgh to get.
He needs a spinal tap. No, that's a bad pun there.
No, he needs a reconstructive surgery of his spine.
Oh, that's a pity.
And he messaged me the other day and told me, I said, because that's a major thing.
Right.
Because you don't know if you're ever going to walk on it again.
Right, it can screw
definitely
up
maybe
things.
not play drums, or nobody knows. So it's one of them unknown things. But he does have the head medical surgeon for the Pittsburgh Steelers is going to do his surgery, heading up the staff. So if anybody in Pittsburgh can get him fixed up, that's who it would be. But anyway, back to Betty. We were going to go in on the 11th and 12th, so I had to move that back. We're going to do Give a Little Bit from Supertramp. I have some plug-in all-stars that are going to come in and do some guitar work, but I had to call Brett, and we're going to have to move that back simply because I don't have a drummer right now. And I'm going to be calling my old drummer for Monster Track, Jeremy Hummel. He's going to be the guy I'm going to call because he can play anything.
So how is the Monster Track and the Betty different? How does the music different?
Monster Track does, if you look at these, most of the songs are from the early 70s. there is no new material. The last in line from Dio was like 80, 84, 80, 84. That's about as new as things get. The Betty Ford does like Queen, Thin Lizzy, Judas Priest, Blue Oyster Cult. Um, you know, big vocals, big guitar, and and it's fun to do because that kind of music is challenging. I mean, Tire Mother Down's I not only sing the lead vocals, but I sing the backing vocals by myself.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think that's not something to, just give it a try once, as Al Bunny said, just give it a try, Peg.
Yeah, there you go.
And so, you have to take life as it comes.
Now, this different music, where can people find this? Is it on iTunes and stuff that they can find it?
Yeah, it's on all the major downloaders and vendors, and it's also, again, it's on Facebook and YouTube and so forth. So
Now, I know you have another new project too. You do videos and interviews with bands and stuff, and that seems to be going great for you. What do you want to tell us about that?
the Pennsylvania Pipeline Music TV. Right over on top of that mountain, we still have an old TV tower that used to run lines down to 6 houses all the way down that mountain onto 864, where my gram lived, my uncle lived, we lived, pretty much relatives are next to kin people. And that's where it all started, my bloodline. And in 1981, my dad bought a 12-foot satellite dish. It was back before government regulations were involved, and there was no regulation. You could watch the parliamentary procedures in Israel or different countries and execution. You could see anything. And I'd sit up at night. I just couldn't believe, because he was the first person in this county that I know of that bought one of those next to the guy, the dealer himself.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just another stage of this TV thing that my family's been in, and it just I couldn't. Life got kind of complicated. I couldn't travel and play like I used to, because my peoples are. I mean, Brett Alexander, he's in the Bad Lees, and he's got all kinds of stuff going on. Jeremy's into the spin, and he's got stuff, and my guitar player for White Witch lives in Florida, and like I said, Carl, things have just gotten complicated. So
life happened, like we said earlier.
I needed something to keep me busy, and the only thing I've known my whole life is bands and music. I mean, I got over 40 years in it, so it just seemed like this is something that take the old TV thing and bring the bands into it, and it took off. And we've had a 5-star rating now for 8 years. This is season 8 we're into. We've had hundreds of bands and artists here.
And they play it through the local TV station then?
WHVL and State College. Covers Johnstown, Altoona, and State College. It's plugged into all the campus facilities. Plus we're on all the Facebook, LinkedIn, all the basic.
So on the TV station, how can people see that? Is that on, do they have a live feed of the TV station anywhere, or?
WHVL, www.whvl.com, and you can go right on there, and it has all the information right on it, hit live to follow it.
I had done a similar thing for a while. I was hosting cartoons doing a show called Cartoon Network.
Cool.
And I was doing that for a PEG station, which is Public Access Government.
Mm-hmm.
And I did 7 seasons of that, kind of burned out. Originally, they wanted me to I was going to do horror movies and interview bands. But to tell you the truth, I put together a team to work on it. And sometimes when you have a team, it's just hard to get everybody motivated. Eventually, I just did the whole show myself. And although the quality wasn't as good, you know what? I could get it done.
Well, it's funny that you brought that up, because the members that I have in my team are some of the best freaking human beings in the world. But they have families, they have kids, they have other things to do, and I can't expect them to spend what little they'll work all week. You know, I can't. It would be selfish of me. I mean, he already helped me out with cameras and stuff that I
Right.
need to borrow. I mean, I want to put that out there. Heath and Alyssa Reese, two of the highest quality friends that I have in my life. Shelly Mingle, she's a really good friend of mine, and they have been up here helping me with this. But this coming now tomorrow, I have a band coming, and I'm going to be here by myself. And I mean, I can do it. Like you said, you can do it. The end product's probably not going to be quite as good, but you know, all I really got to do is set all the cameras up. I got the soundboard and the light board right there. I can run sound and lights by myself if I have to.
Right.
I prefer not to, but again, sometimes you got to do what you got to do, and it's just the way it is.
So I didn't ask you this up front. What got you interested in doing music in the first time? What got you interested in being a front man, not just being a person that drove around their car listening to music? What got you into actually doing as active a role as you have been doing?
Well, I have to say this. I figured it out about 7th grade. I was just born to be a lead singer.
There you go.
I still am. And I'm going to tell you right now, my best days are still ahead of me. And before I'm gone, people are going to know who I am. You can bet your last freaking dollar on that. Because I ain't pretty, but I can sing pretty well.
I was going to say, we got to play the Whiskey a Go-Go.
Yeah.
That's it.
And, you know, I saw 1975. I saw the American Music Awards. I sat them big old floor model TVs. I sit this far away from it, right in front of it. And I watched the American Music Awards in 75, and Alice Cooper was scheduled to perform. And all the people there thought that they were going to get the crazy freak show Alice Cooper. And he came out and he did Only Women Bleed. And he crushed the audience. There were people, look at them goosebumps.
There you go.
People were crying. They never saw it coming. And it was one of the most, it was what, when that was over, I'm like, that right there is what I want to do. And that was the defining time in my life. And then years later, I saw George Jones perform. He Stopped Loving Her Today. It was the most freaking incredible thing I ever saw. It was on Letterman. And David Letterman warned everybody. He goes, we're going to go to commercial. We come back. He's going to be singing He Stopped Loving Her Today. And he goes, there will not be a dry eye in the building. So they came back and he did it. And they showed the crowd. And even the teenage kids were looking around like this, like they were somehow violated. You know what I mean? He played their heartstrings so hard. And people were crying uncontrollably. They even went and they were passing out boxes of tissues. Everybody was crushed. And I was like, look at that. Look at that. Yeah. Goosebumps. Standing there. And I'm like, that right there is what I want to do. So between Alice and George Jones, that's where I fall into this. I have no interest in playing other instruments. I'm a lead singer like Ozzy and Alice and Dio and Rob Halford, and that's just what I do. I'm pickled in it.
And you do a great job, and it's great that you're living your life. I mean, you're doing what you want to do, and that matters. And where, I know this is the same question you asked me, where do you want to be in the future? The near future, the far future? Where would you like to see all your stuff going?
Well, you know, you have to look at things realistically. Because a lot of people that I see on Facebook and the band drama and stuff, and they're just young bands, and they have no idea what's going to be coming their way. And I mean, when you start dealing with adversity everywhere you look around you, it has a way of manipulating you. So where I'd like to be realistically, I want to take care of my parents as best as I can. That's my number one priority right now. My goals have changed.
That's important, though.
My goals and responsibilities have changed. I can't travel and tour like doing lots of playing dates. I have to kind of be within a couple hours here and come right back because my folks need me. And nothing, even the big as my dream is, and I have the biggest dream of anybody I know. I'm going to tell you that right now. My dream is big. That's why it says "Never dies a dream" is White Witch slogan. I'm a part of a huge dream, and all these 3 bands and this TV show are all the giant root or stump of the bottom of this dream. And even though you're not seeing much up here, underneath it's getting huge, massive root. And eventually that tree's going to bloom.
Because you're building the roots.
That's right. And, I have to play the game a little different, but I mean, the people that I have that play in my bands are of the highest caliber. They ain't Jim, Bob, and Leroy from, I'm not going to say where, but anyway, the people that I have involved around my life are as good as they come. And none of them they're all really good people too. That's
important.
And the God that I believe in has surrounded me with so many good people, and I'm so blessed to have in my life. And the best part about it is October 5th, I'll have 18 years clean and sober. And for someone that was as fucked up or messed up as I was, or am, or whatever, I sit back and think about it, and I don't even think it's possible or real. But it is real. And, there has to be a reason for all this. Because God and the devil have both conspired to put me here at this exact moment in time. They have both been responsible for keeping me clean and sober. That's a pretty powerful team. And I still believe, like I said, my best day is yet to come. And when that day comes, it'll be worth 100 freaking lifetimes.
Well, I look forward to seeing that. And hopefully being along your own side of you with you.
That would be great, John.
It would be good if we could do, like we talked earlier about doing some things on the strip. But that's great. I believe in you. I'm glad there for a while I wasn't in communication with you because I had a lot of life things going on too. This parent stuff. Like I said, both my parents died and I had some health issues. And somebody come along in life happens. And it's a pity.
Yeah.
But I'm glad to be here interviewing you again. It's been a long time. Now, in ending, why don't you give the websites one more time for people?
Well, you can go, all the main pages are on Facebook. You can go to www.facebook.com/Pennsylvania Pipeline Music TV. You can Google it. We're on YouTube. We're on LinkedIn and Twitter. I haven't been hitting Twitter a lot up. I kind of been disenchanted with Twitter. For reasons I'm not going to get into right now. I just don't see much on there that appeals to me, or I'm not inclined to go there at all. Basically, the one time I lost one of my passwords and they refused to give me my page back, so that gave a bad taste in my mouth. But the White Witch has a page on there, White Witch one White Witch on Facebook. Monster Track Supergroup has a page on there. Betty Ford has a page on there, and of course White Witch has a page on there. So I'm gonna keep making more music with all my bands. I'm gonna keep putting videos out, and my thing is, if you keep pounding on doors long enough, and you keep taking advantage of every opportunity that comes your way, and instead of letting fruit rot on the vine. I see so many people let opportunities rot on the vine. I don't want to name them, but a couple of them are girls that have, my God, they got the world potential. They can't even return messages. And I know other people that's try to get them. When someone messages you and offers you an opportunity, you would be a very ignorant person to turn that down. In a world where opportunities die.
People do. I've known people too that have been on TV and on reality shows, and then they used to go on tour with me in Seventh Layer, and it's like they let the ball drop. And to this day, they work at a store.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a couple of those people, just because when they had the opportunities, they didn't take it.
No, and people get really complacent and lazy, and I know people get married and have kids and stuff, but you can still chase your dream being married and have kids. There's lots of, I wouldn't say lots of space and time, but I have lots of friends that have kids and play in bands, and hopefully
your significant other then is your support team.
Yeah, and you want to use your kids to it's like, look what your dad's doing, and because most kids would be really cool to be into music. But one thing I'm not going to get into that because I don't have any kids. I'm never going to have any kids. I'm waiting to get another dog, but
yeah, my son also does music down in Philly, and he's doing pretty good for himself.
Yeah.
Justin Carrots, and he had the Kennel Club was his band, and he's kind of doing a lot of his own thing, and he's sort of a perfectionist, which slows him down some days, but he's been doing good. He's a better everything than I am. I'm just the guy that keeps doing it. Like you said, you got to do it. I'm the person that does it. He's the person that's better at it, if that makes sense. So,
like we said a little while ago, everything happens in one day, and all it takes is one person to believe in you
and start it all
and
rolling.
Call you or message you and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to give you a chance
To push that domino over and let him keep going down the whole trip.
That's exactly right. A little nudge from a judge somewhere.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting for that day, and I believe that my resume and my work of my life body of work speaks for itself.
Well, I'm sure it's coming, and this new, relatively new to me, your TV show is great, and that gets you out there, and it also gets you to meet other people,
and it keeps me busy,
and that's good too. But thank you, Jeff, for being with us.
I want to thank
we won't wait another 15 years to come up here.
No.
We'll be up here sooner.
Yeah,
we'll make it 14 and a half next time. I'm joking.
We're going to be putting out some music, and we might surprise some people.
That's another project, a new project. Me and Jeff are working on some music and seeing where that takes us. Hopefully it takes us great places, and even if it doesn't, it's going to be a great experience. That's the way I look at it.
I appreciate you very much, John.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.